Hello, my name is Lori. I own a small handmade business called Sew at Peace. You can shop any of my handmade products on my website. It's sewatpeace.store. In today's video, we are doing part 2 of the scrap strips that I made. So I'm going to show you guys how you can use your roll that you created to make a product. So this is also going to be a vlog style video, so I'm going to go into a few other things. So I just ordered a new bolt of fusible fleece, just opened up the package and wanted to share with you guys. I don't know if any of you guys typically order from a bolt, but I found this interesting. So I got my bolt just like this. And normally it has almost like a tissue paper type of paper that goes around it. Well, I didn't get that this time. It came with a paper with the instructions. So not sure how I feel about that. I guess it's good because it's less waste and also less of a nuisance when I'm cutting. I don't have to throw away the paper. But I just found it interesting. And if anybody's interested in what type of fusible fleece that I use, I'm pretty sure I've only used this type of fusible fleece. It's fusible Thermolam Plus style. It's Palon style 971F. So love this stuff. It's extra thick. I find that it's a little bit thicker than the other fusible fleece. So anyways, that's one order of business. Second order of business are my new rivets and snap dies that I received. So I'm just going to show you guys what that setup is like. Some of you are probably new and haven't seen me use my cam press snap set. So I bought it initially to use with plastic snaps, but I just ordered some other dies so I can start integrating more metal into my products. So I think it just gives it a little bit more of a high-end look. And I've been using magnetic snaps already, but they're the manual kind. So I thought by using the cam snaps, it'll make the process a lot faster to produce my products, basically, because it's kind of a process to use the manual ones. It's not difficult, but it just takes a little bit more work and you have to put it in before your product is done. With the cam snap set, you can add the snaps after the product is pretty much done. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys a quick look. Don't mind the mess. I have moved the belts. I had all the belts laid out right here. Don't mind that towel either. That's my ironing towel. So that's what I use to clean my iron with. So anyways, they were on the table and I moved them down here. These are like little tiny totes that I bought, and I left the lids off because the totes kind of have like a plastic smell and I don't like it. So I'm just letting it air out. And I forgot I got this new little container here. I'll put some light in this area. So I just got this. I forgot to take the tag off of it. But anyways, I like it a lot. So it just has multiple layers. So this new little container set that I have just has multiple layers. It has 3 different layers. There's the lid, and I had all of my zipper pulls in a drawer in my Husky toolboxes, but they were just all like together with no separation. I couldn't tell what I had. I actually thought I was out of gold butterfly zipper pulls and I wasn't. So I figured I need some better organization. So here's my inventory for the antique brass. And then these are some black pulls that I just received. Oops. And then here's all of my gold pulls and then my rainbow. I only have a little bit of rainbow. Oh, I don't have anything on the bottom. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So these all go with the zipper by the yard that I purchased from Wawak, and all of my other zippers that are not from Wawak. They're all up here, and I have all of the zippers in the bags, so I know what goes with what. Okay, so here is my cam snap press, and let's see. So down here, I put some of my magnetic, let me see if I can get this open. So these are my 18mm magnetic snaps. I can't get this open, but I have it in the 14mm. I'll show you in just a sec. So this guy I just used to make the hole punches in my product. And then I bought these rivets from Wawak, and they're a little bit smaller than the dies that I have. So I don't know if they're gonna work or not. I know for sure if they were bigger than my dies, then it wouldn't work, but these are 8mm, and I think my die set is a 10mm, so we'll find out. But it seemed like they were a lot cheaper than the ones that I purchased elsewhere, so I'm hoping that they'll work. I don't know, but they do seem smaller, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to use these. Hopefully they don't go to waste. And then I bought this little organizer for all of my rivets and my dies and my new magnetic snaps. Okay, actually I'm gonna show you guys over here because I feel like there's better lighting here. Okay, so here are my gold rivets. I have the antique brass, and I put labels on most things. I don't know what happened here, I missed those. So these are the dies for the double cap rivets. And then I have the magnetic rivet set. I haven't tried these out yet. I really do want to try them out, but there's one portion of them and then the other half is in that compartment. I can't talk today, you guys. Okay. And then I bought these fashion snaps too. So I was really debating whether or not I should go for just the magnetic snaps or the fashion snaps. Cam snaps, they were running a sale. It was buy one, get one 50% off. So I don't think the magnetic snap one was included. I think it was just the fashion snaps and the rivets. So anyways, so that's why I ended up getting those, and then I just bought the extra magnetic ones. But these are more of a manual press, so it just takes a little bit more force to get those snapped in and out. So can't wait to try those as well. Oh, and then here's my 14mm magnetic snap. So these are the manual ones that I was talking about. And so basically you just go in before the product is finished and you install these. So all the parts are in these compartments. All right, and then here is the press that I have. I have the double cap rivet dies in here right now. So I just have this basic one. They have one that's a little bit more sturdy, but I thought this one would be fine for what I need it for. So in the future, I might get another one just so I don't have to keep changing out the dies. But for now, this will work. And I just have this mounted onto this wood stand that my stepdad made years ago. And I don't think I've ever showed you, or I showed you guys all of my jelly collection that I made in another video, but I don't remember if I showed you this dud. So this one, this holographic vinyl is terrible. So it looks so wrinkled. That's how it ended up after I flipped the pouch right side out. And I tried to smooth it out with a blow dryer and just couldn't get all of those indents out. So yeah, this is gonna stay with me. I don't know what I'm gonna use it for. I can still use it for something in here, but it's just not pretty enough to sell. So it's staying in here. Oh, and I also made this little pouch. I made one just like it for my friend, and it's just made with upcycled denim. So I gotta find a use for that as well. All right, so I have decided that I'm gonna make a boxy pouch with the scrap strips that I made. This is what I have. I really wanted to use this colorful strip set that I made, but I don't think I have enough fabric for a boxy pouch. So these other ones are kind of slim as well. So I think I'm just gonna go with this like pastel color scheme here. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what we need to do. And I'm gonna grab my rotary cutter. All right, So your measurements are gonna vary depending on what you decide to make. So I'm not gonna share any of my measurements, but I will share with you guys what my process is. So you wanna cut this about an inch bigger than what you need. And I'm actually gonna modify this a little bit because I don't like where I need to cut it. I don't like where the seam was laying on there. So I can always sew this on to another piece of the strip or sew it on at the end just to attach it. I'm not gonna use a ruler or anything because I'm gonna go and square everything out once we're done. I'm gonna bring you in a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. So there is one of my seams. So I still have a few inches to that side and then another one of my seams. So the edge where I needed to cut was gonna be like right about there. And it's just too awkward to leave that in my seam area. I think I need to cut about 7 of these if I remember correctly. All right, my seam is laying in a weird spot again, so I'm probably just gonna cut off this little piece right here. So there's that weird little seam. Ah, it happened again. I'm just gonna cut it a little bit shorter. I think we'll be fine. Okay. 5, 6, 7. So I'm just gonna lay these out just so I can see how everything is looking. I've got a lot of red in this one. All right, I'm just moving these around just to get the placement that I want. All right, we're gonna start with this and see what size we get after everything is sewn together. But first I'm going to press my seams. All right, you guys, I just cut another strip and it's actually just a solid piece. So I wasn't fully digging this butterscotch strawberry color in with this. I think it might be okay if I had another strip of this print within one of these fabric strips. So I'm just gonna take this out and substitute it with this other solid piece that I found. And actually, I'm gonna move it just because when oh no, it's gonna go the other way. Okay, I was thinking if it's on the end, it may not look good being on one side of the zipper, like all a solid color, but it's actually gonna go this other way. So zipper is gonna be on this side and this side. I think I'm happy with that. I might have to play with it again just because I'm gonna iron all these and I'm probably gonna take them out of order. Okay, so for the fabric pieces, they say to iron your seams towards the dark. So I used to iron them open, but I noticed that like when you're chain stitching, sometimes some of your stitches come out towards the end. So if you fold it over, I feel like it just makes that seam a little bit stronger. So that's just my theory anyways. Let me know what you guys think if you have any expert information, but I do not. So we're just ironing them over to really any side. All of the fabric is pretty light, so it doesn't really matter in my opinion. All right, I'm just gonna lay this out again just to make sure I like the way it looks because I'm pretty sure I got these out of order. Okay, I'm happy with the way that this looks. So I'm going to take this over to the sewing machine and sew my first 2 strips. And the nice thing about doing this with your scraps and not sewing patchwork that is all the same size is you don't have to line up your seams. So typically you would line up your seams when you're sewing. So these, you know, you'd have to make sure that they look really nice and lined up. Well, with this, since everything is a different length, we don't have to worry about that. So we can be a lot more carefree when we're sewing the seams together. All right, you guys. I ordered this 1/4 inch seam foot about a month ago and I have not tried it yet. So we're gonna try it when we're piecing our strips together and just see how well it works. Oops, okay. Forgot to bring that lever up. Try not to stab myself with the needle. I don't know if you guys ever do that, but somehow I end up stabbing myself with the needle when I'm changing my presser foot. Okay, let me give you guys a quick look at how it looks when you insert it. So the fabric is just right against this little piece of metal there. First thoughts, that was really nice. Like, it really keeps your fabric like right against that edge there, and I didn't even really have to like hold on to the fabric too much. I just kind of left my hands here to guide it, and I think it did a really nice job. I'm very pleased with that. Okay, so there's the first strip. So as you can see, the seams do not line up because our strips are different sizes. All right, I went to go grab my other piece of fabric, and we're gonna continue on. All right, I'm gonna go see if this is wide enough. All right, you guys, my fabric is just the right size. So I just ironed all of my seams to one side, and I'm gonna cut out my batting. So I like to use a poly cotton batting. So we're gonna see if this is big enough. Yep, I think this piece will work just fine. And luckily it doesn't shrink up too much once we quilt it. So I think we'll be okay with our strip that was just a little bit too short, as you can see on the end, but still long enough to make the boxy bag, if that makes sense. So I'm not gonna spray anything on here. We're just gonna go straight to the sewing machine and quilt this on. All right, you guys, we're back at the sewing machine. What I normally do is I'll sew down each side on each seam, but I think we're gonna do things a little bit different this time. I'm going to do like a crazy stitch down the middle of each strip. All right, you guys, we're going to start in the middle with crazy stitch. I just mean it's gonna be wavy. So I've never done this before. I just did a little test strip right before this, so we'll see how it turns out. And I'm just gonna change my stitch length to 3.5. So here goes. All right, let's see how we look. Well, it looks pretty good. I am not mad at that. Let's try it again. Cut out my lining pieces, and I squared up my main panel. I'm just going to add my label to this, so I'm just going to find the center. And And then and for the zipper, I'm just gonna use this light pink zipper by the Yard. I have a lot of pink in this fabric. And you know what I forgot to do? All right, I just got another scrap piece of paper to make my pull tabs. So I'm gonna make one handle and one side tab. All right, and then for my tabs, all of them are folded over twice. So they have 4 layers. So I'm gonna fold this over lengthwise in half. And then I'm gonna do the same thing with the other piece. All right, and then we're gonna open it up, find the center, and then we'll just fold both sides over to the center. Then I just fold it over again and then give it another press. And I'm gonna do the other side. And then I'm just gonna put my clapper on here while it's cooling just to keep it nice and flat. And then I'll do the same thing with my side tab. Some fabrics will stay pretty good, but some just wanna like pop out and not lay flat. And this is one of those fabrics that just wants to keep popping out. Okay, I put the clapper on my small piece. This one looks pretty good. So I'm gonna take it over to the sewing machine and stitch down both sides. And I just check both sides just to make sure everything looks good. All right, I'm just gonna sew my label on. All right, we're just gonna baste stitch this on, and then we'll add our lining after. All right, we're gonna add our lining right side down. We're gonna add our other side. Okay, we put our tab on. All right, you guys, I am all done. It is super cute. This is what it looks like. Here's the side. I added this pull string on the zipper. And there's the back side. And then there's the other side with the pull tab. And the inside is just pink polka dot. So I'm gonna finish off this zipper tab. So I'm just gonna show you guys how I do it. So I normally just cut straight across, but I think on this one I'm gonna do a little angle cut. Okay, and then I'm gonna add some fray check. So I always put fray check on these zipper ends. All right. Then I'll just let that sit for a few minutes and then we should be good to go. So this turned out so much cuter than I expected. I mean, scrappy patchwork stuff is always like really cute, but I don't know. I just wasn't quite sure about all the different colors that went into this, but they're all pinks and corals and just a little bit of red. And I think everything paired really well. And then we have this one strip down the center that was the solid piece that I showed you guys, the pink with the white roses, and that looks super cute as well. That was not intentional for it to go down the center, but I really like the way that it turned out, and I like my wavy quilting on here, so I'm gonna definitely try that again. I like the idea of doing a crazy quilting, so I think it makes it stand out, makes it a little bit more unique, and I'm really happy with this. So I was thinking about it and trying to decide if I want to list it on my website or not, or if I want to keep it for myself. I have a Boxy bag that I use for me personally. It was one of the first Boxy bags that I made. I'll show you. So this one's collecting dust. I need to wash this and do something with it, but it is in this print. So it's just like a black floral. The inside is a maroon color on the Boxy bag that I use. This one was just a trial. Like I said, I used a number 3 zipper on here and didn't put any type of pull tabs on here. Did not like this one. So that one's been sitting in a bin for quite some time. So anyways, it might be time for me to upgrade my makeup bag. So we shall see. I was trying to think of what I could use a Boxy bag for, just so I could keep it, just because I hate to waste. It's not wasting, but like, I don't need multiple Boxy bags. I mean, like I said, I could use it for my car. I thought about putting one in my car just to store cables, maybe some treats for the kids, maybe my flashlight. I don't really know, but I think it might be fun to have one in the car. I know someone that purchased for me before. She said that she bought a Boxy bag to hold in her car. So I don't know. We'll see. By the time this video comes up, look on my website. It might be there. I really don't know how much to charge for this because it took me so much time. So whatever I do charge for, it's definitely not going to account for the time that I put into this. You would think, it being like a scrappy project, that it would be fast, and it's really not. I mean, there's so much that goes into it. Like you saw, like all the cutting, all the piecing together, and all the ironing after each section is pieced on there. So it just really is a time-consuming project, but not hard. Like I said, I'm super happy with this. I'm super excited to make other things with the rest of the scraps. So I might work on that later this week, just putting some pieces together with all of my scrap strips. So we shall see, but let me know what you guys think of this Boxy bag down in the comments, and let me know if you are going to be trying to create some scrap projects yourself. And tag me on Instagram if you make anything. I'm on Instagram. My handle is sew.at.piece. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you give me a like and subscribe. And again, if you want to shop my small handmade business, it's sewatpiece.store. And I hope you all have a joyful and peaceful day.